4月17日、日本時間、そして4月16日、アメリカ時間、静かに始まった一つのトークショーは、やがて現代野球の核心へと深く潜り込んでいった。中心にいたのは、やはり、大谷翔平という存在だった。かつての名実況者、ジョー・バックがブースに戻り、背番号42への敬意が語られる中、空気はどこか懐かしく、それでいて新しい時代の鼓動を感じさせた。しかし話題はすぐに、圧倒的な強さを誇る、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースへと移る。このチームは、もはや単なる競合ではない。層の厚さ、戦略、規律、そのすべてが噛み合い、誰が彼らを止められるのか、という問いだけが残る。そしてその中心で輝く大谷は、6回10奪三振、防御率0点台という支配的な投球を見せながら、自らの登板間隔すらコントロールする異質な存在だ。彼は打者なのか、それとも投手なのか。その問いはすでに古いのかもしれない。議論はさらに進み、彼は史上最高の投手になり得るのか、という領域へと踏み込む。対照的に、ニューヨーク、メッツ、和製祭を欠き、8対2の敗戦が象徴するように、勢いも魂も見失っている。ドジャースの完成度と、大谷翔平という、説明不能な存在。この物語はまだ途中だ。続きを、ぜひその目で確かめてほしい。
Our man, Joe Buck, it's like Monday night on a Wednesday night, and it's a different sport, and I would say it's like riding a bike, but that would be awfully disrespectful to the skill set on display. But when you sit down in a familiar setting, Joe, and you slide on the headphones, how quickly does it all come back, the joy of calling baseball?
Yeah, it takes a little bit. Obviously on a night when we honor one of the greatest people to ever walk the planet, and everybody's wearing number 42, that was another layer of, hoping that I would get the right identification going. But it was fun. These guys to my right who have left, Ron Darling and Oral Hershiser were fantastic. I knew they would be. They asked me, who do you want to work with? Those were the two guys I picked for this very reason, and I just kind of leaned on them, and we had fun. But it was good to be back in a baseball booth, and I'm glad I did it.
It's obvious who the guy wearing 42 on the mound is, and Shohei Ohtani, a guy you called an all-star game when he was with Anaheim. Joe, I believe Stanford Steve was giving me the rundown on that. But to get the full Shohei experience with this Dodger team that is an absolute wagon, Joe, what do you do? How would you describe all that?
It's unlike anything I've seen, and I've covered this game a long time. I don't know who you would compare this team to right now. They're so far and away the best team in the game. They do everything right. Their manager is outstanding and extremely underrated. He does a terrific job getting this team ready to play. I mean, Ohtani is just lights out on the mound. The guy's a 4-time MVP for what he does with his bat. Nobody's ever done that in the history of this game. They can beat you a lot of different ways. They're good in their bullpen. They play good defense. It just goes on and on and on. It's just a question of who can hang with them, and then when the postseason starts, because the Dodgers will be in the postseason, can anybody beat them in a series? And right now, the way they're playing, the answer would probably be no.
You've been fairly insistent, Joe, that this chapter of your professional life's mostly in the rearview mirror. But I wonder, as you sit there and you reacquaint yourself with this, you sure? I think I'm just rooting to hear you call more baseball, I guess is what I'm saying.
I honestly, I appreciate the question. I just don't think anybody really cares. I think when people watch these games, it's about the game. I don't think it's about the announcer. I mean, that was my dad's old joke. He used to say, one day I'm gonna die in the booth, and two guys are gonna be walking in downtown St. Louis, and one guy's gonna turn to the other guy and go, "Hey, did you hear Jack Buck died in the booth last night?" And the other guy will go, "Huh, that's too bad. Cardinals win." I mean, that's what it's about. It's about the game, and it's about the players, and it's about the score. So I had an unbelievable fun run with Tim McCarver and John Smoltz and Harold Reynolds and Verducci, and I mean, I had a blast. But doing these one-offs is fun. Yeah. It's a challenge to get back in it, but I don't know. I think that that ship has sailed.
Listen, I get it, and you're right. I just think you're good at it, and it was fun to listen tonight, Joe. And on a night that the game honors Jackie, it was cool to have you there with Ron and Oral. Fantastic job. Good to visit. I hope I talk to you soon.
Yeah, buddy. Good to hear your voice in my headset. And, yeah, miss you. And it'll be here before we know it. We'll be doing Monday Night Football
There we go.
here on ESPN.
Can't wait to find out the schedule. We'll be with you soon. I look forward to that, Joe. Thank you.
Okay, buddy.
We're going to start here, AJ, with the Dodgers and some uniqueness here. A couple of unique points to get your thoughts on. Number one, Shohei Ohtani got hit by a pitch the other day near shoulder. So they're like, you know what? Let's just have you pitch and not hit for a game. It hadn't happened in about 5 years. He shoved. His ERA is 0.50 after 3 starts. And he's getting support from role players that I think are making a big difference with the Dodgers this year. The bottom of their lineup is absolutely torching people. And also, you rarely get to see anybody DH besides Ohtani. Dalton Rushing, of course, DHs and hits a freaking grand slam. We won't get to the Lindor error that happened there, or the mistake. I don't even know if they charge him an error, but the mistake he made again. We'll do that later. But your thoughts on the Dodgers right now?
They're good. They're number one in my power rankings still, Scott. They're number one in my power rankings. They're good. And by the way, I played, I'm going to name drop here. I played golf last couple of days with Andrew Jones, new Hall of Famer. And he said something funny, and I hadn't really thought about it. One thing the Dodgers do, have you noticed Shohei gets matched up with when he pitches? How they don't ever, it's not Shohei versus Tarek Skubal. It'll be Shohei versus the 4th or the 5th starter. And he's like, Shohei wants to win a Cy Young. And if they keep continuing to match him up, and let's not forget, like Joe Madden has told us, Shohei pretty much makes his own schedule. So if he can keep getting matched up with the right teams and pitching the way he's pitching, there might be a good chance for him to win a Cy Young and an MVP this year. I'm just saying if anyone can do both, he can do it. So I think that the Dodgers are just really good. I mean, Dalton Rushing would be a starter on 29 other teams almost. Not 29, but a lot of other teams in Major League Baseball. But here he is stuck behind Will Smith, one of the best catchers. And Dalton Rushing is off to an unbelievable start. So I just think the Dodgers build depth better than anybody. They find players better than anyone, and they use their players. They deploy them better than anyone, and that's why they won back-to-back World Series.
Hold up, Kratz. Do you believe that conspiracy theory? Because I think they're trying to slow play it with Ohtani, and do writers even give a crap about wins?
Wins? I mean,
I don't even know. I know he pitched against Clay Holmes yesterday. I don't know who he pitched against the last 2 times. But it's just something to talk about. It's something to talk about. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's not saying this or that. But I know this. Shohei makes his schedule. We know this. Joe Madden said this when he managed Shohei, that Shohei makes his schedule and he pitches when – and he doesn't pitch on 4 days rest. He doesn't pitch on 5 days rest. He pitches about once a week or so, and he pitches when he's ready. So, listen, Shohei's really good, okay? Shohei can do anything. Shohei is dealing right now. He's feeling it. And you know what? If he wins a Cy Young, it'd be pretty dang awesome.
167. That's how many innings I think he needs. In recent history, Corbin Burns won the Cy Young. He had 167 innings when other dudes were up in the 190s. I think 167 gives you enough that, you know what, if he has a half an ERA, I don't think he's going to have a half an ERA, but if he does have a half ERA, maybe it could be a little bit lower. But Corbin Burns, I think, set the mark where the least amount of innings that you can have, even being super dominant. Like, I just think that's the number. If you're going 6 innings an outing and you only get 27 appearances, he's a little short. So we'll see.
And some of it depends on competition. Even if he does hit that number, and I'm just going to use Skeens as the example. Let's say Skeens gets to 200 innings and has a great ERA and similar strikeout numbers, the whole deal. I mean, if someone has a 30, 40 inning advantage and a lot of similarities elsewhere, they're going to win the battle. By the way, on the starting pitching front, again, just for the Dodger fans, they're going to lose their mind if they only catch the first minute of this segment. He's faced Tanner Bybee, Dylan Cease, and Clay Holmes.
Terrible.
You got to tell Andrew.
All terrible.
Tell Andrew.
Again, I'm just telling you what he's.
No, I know you. I know you are.
I hadn't even looked into it.
I'm just being
know.
the stat nerd. I'm just
Tanner
covering
Bybee,
us. Yeah.
Dylan Cease is pretty good. Clay Holmes
So
is pretty good.
Here's the person who got second place the year Burns won it was Zach Wheeler. He went 3 complete games, 2 complete game shutouts. he had almost 50 more innings, and he had 13 more strikeouts than Corbin Burns, and Corbin Burns still won the Cy Young. So you're talking about quite a bit difference in the innings. And games started, Burnsy had 28. Wheeler made all 32 of his. So it's possible. It's possible, but Shohei's got to get it going. I mean, he's got to get it going in the sense of like that, making enough starts, getting enough innings to make the writers say, okay, he was better than everybody else.
Right. Right now he's at 18 innings, 1 earned run, 7 walks, 6 strikeouts, or 18 strikeouts, 6 walks. One other component here that I teased and I want to make sure we get to. So Dave Roberts said at the beginning of the year, it's the best team that he's ever managed in terms of what it looks like to him. This was coming out of spring training. So he said this at the beginning of the season. And they are off to a 14-4 start. It is the best, I think it was tied for the best 18-game start that a team has had as a defending champ. Again, we're super early into the season, but it's better to start 14-4 than 9-9. And this stat from Alden Gonzalez stood out as we've seen guys like Kim shine yesterday. Pais is on fire. We might cover him later in the show with a different segment, but bottom of their lineup, OPS, 935. 935. That's a 130-point lead over the second best team in that category. Bottom 3 hitters in their lineup and what they're doing on a nightly basis. In other words, the 7, 8, 9 hitters have basically been Juan Soto OPS from 2023 to 2025. That OPS number was 946. Alden said it's early, but still, that is wild. That is really impressive for the first few weeks of the season. And if that ends up being the case, Kratz, I mean, this team is more dangerous than ever on offense. Hey, remember the World Series last year? There were some times early on in the series where we're like, are the Dodgers okay on offense? Is there enough firepower here? I know we have a long way to go between now and October, but this does look like a more complete team on offense.
Yeah, I would say so. And these guys are going to come down to earth. Dalton Rushing is not going to hit, let's see, what is he hitting? 529, just a news flash. Pais isn't going to hit, based on what I saw in the postseason, he's not going to hit 409. But doesn't mean those guys can't have great years. It doesn't mean Miguel Rojas in his last year can't hit close to 280. But it also means Mookie Betts, when he comes back, isn't going to be hitting 180. Freddie Freeman, because he said he wants to, he will hit above 300. That's just the type of player Freddie Freeman is. So he's due for a little bit of a hot streak because he's only hitting 270. And the best hitter in free agency this offseason is hitting 220, 240 with a below 700 OPS. Kyle Tucker will end the season right around 850 OPS. So there's still guys that need to get hot, and some of these guys will regress. For all the haters are like, well, they're not going to do this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, but their best players will get hot during that time and come back to the mean of where they are in their career. That's what's so amazing about this team.
We really, really appreciate it. And I can't believe how many people listen to this, considering how badly our team is.
People are taking a little joy in our misery, and that's okay. We signed up for that with our Dodgers following. That's all right. Yes, the Mets get swept out of LA, blown out of the water. I mean, we kind of said it heading into this series. I would have been happy to take one game of this series with the way the Mets are playing. Unfortunately, that was not even possible. They lost last night in a game that was 8-2 loss to the Dodgers, and it just shouldn't have been like that. We're going to get into it right now, but how the score ended up 8-2 in that game, I'm still trying to wrap my head around.
Me too. And you want to know the funny thing, and I don't know if you're going to agree with this. Normally, I feel like I'd have more to say about an 8-2 loss, but honestly, all of those runs were, in my opinion, almost like garbage runs coming in garbage time because the Mets were going to lose either way. I'm not even that mad that the score was 8-2. I'm mad that it seems like once the Mets get behind, which feels like every night, there's no way for them to recover. Like, they just don't win games. Like, the score matters less to me right now than the deep-rooted not winning issues.
If you're a Mets fan or if you're a Dodgers fan, like, just open question to the group. Did you at any point in this series one time feel like the Mets were going to win whatever game they were playing? I think the answer to that is no. Even when it was a close game last night, you sort of knew something was going to happen. You knew the spark wasn't there. But I want to go through one moment. We have to address it off the top. I have some bigger picture things to say in terms of David Stearns, Carlos Mendoza, because we are just in rock bottom hell of losing 8 in a row. The sky's falling in New York. The sky's falling. But if we want to talk about one moment of yesterday's game that kind of took what was a somewhat close game into a non-competitive game, here we go again. Francisco Lindor not charging a ground ball in, it was Teoscar Hernandez who hit the ground ball to him. Lindor doesn't charge it. He's safe at first base. That opens the floodgates. It becomes a blowout. Devin Williams, the wheels fall off the bus. Williams has been good so far. Last night wasn't his night. Shocker, he's pitching against the Dodgers. Francisco Lindor, we covered this on our last episode. It is yet another example of what on earth is going on with this guy. Francisco Lindor has been manning shortstop out there for years. He knows a little dribbler like that, a ball that bounces 3 times, you got to charge it. You got to get him out. Now, to Teoscar Hernandez's credit, he's busting it down the line like it's Game 7 of the World Series. He's out there sprinting, and it paid off because he was safe. And then obviously that paved the way for the Dodgers to win the game handily. But first of all, on Lindor's end, what's happening? And on the Dodgers' end, that kind of just speaks to everything that's wrong here, right? Like, it sounds so silly, but the example of Teoscar Hernandez, of all guys, busting it down the line, getting an infield single out of that, and then they obviously go on to rally beyond that. That's the type of spark that this Mets team is missing. That's the type of momentum, heart, hustle, whatever you want to call it. No one on the Mets has shown us this year, right? Like, it's almost remarkable.
I mean, 100%. You start to wonder, is this rock bottom? I mean, the one thing that you can say, I guess, that's there are actually 2 bright lights that I've really tried to use to inspire me in the past 24 hours. The first is that the series with the Dodgers is over, and let's at least be open and honest in admitting that this is the best team in baseball, and the 3-game sweep was once again proof of that.
It's our favorite segment this week in Shohei Ohtani news, and it is time we have a conversation. Is Shohei Ohtani the best pitcher in the game of baseball? He was absolutely remarkable Wednesday night in his start. We're going to talk about that start, a bit of a broader picture when it comes to pitching, but he pitched and did not hit in the lineup for the first time in a long time. We'll talk about that. His offense, where he was offensively on the week, his on-base streak, where we're at with that, and a bit of a scare that he got at the plate when the catcher jumped in front of him. We'll talk about that at the end. But let's talk about his start on the mound on Wednesday. So he was not in the lineup offensively. He was just focusing on pitching. Now, he wasn't in the lineup because on Monday he was hit by a pitch, and unfortunately, with Shohei being a pitcher and a hitter, and also being a left-handed hitter, his right arm is the one that faces the pitcher. So Shohei was drilled in the right arm on Monday. And come Wednesday, time for him to start on the mound, Dave Roberts, Dodgers manager, said, you know what? He's not going to hit. He is just going to focus on pitching. Now, I have always said if he were just focusing on pitching, he would be maybe the best pitcher in the game of baseball. Well, what we saw Wednesday night was just pure dominance. He was unbelievable. He ended up striking out 10 guys over the course of 6 innings. We did see he struck out the side in the 6th inning to end the night. So he goes out after 5 innings. He gave up a run ending a scoreless inning streak. Gets through 5 innings, had a bunch of strikeouts, and he thought, okay, I think he was at 7 strikeouts through 5. And he thought, okay, maybe he's done. Dave Roberts is clearly kind of handling him with kid gloves. No. Shohei Ohtani said, I'm not done. I'm going back out there. And in the 6th inning, he struck out the side and was absolutely dominant to get to 10 strikeouts on the night. Ended up with 10 strikeouts through 6 innings, just 1 run given up, 95 pitches, 2 walks. So 10 strikeouts compared to 2 walks. It's his first run given up of the year, first earned run of the year. So it ended a scoreless inning streak of 32 2/3 innings pitched. He's unhittable. So he finally gives up a run for the first time in over 3 games. 3 full games, 9, 18, 27. He's more games than that for him. But he finally gives up a run through 32 and a 2/3 innings. This year, it's his first run given up. Balloons his ERA to 0.50 on the year. Look, it was pure dominance. Through 4 innings of this game, only 2 balls had even left the infield. Only 1 hit. Only 2 had even left the infield. Teams aren't even making contact. He's virtually unhittable. We did see his first leadoff walk in a Dodgers uniform. Think about that. His first leadoff walk given up in a Dodger uniform. That's insane to me. Struck out the side in the 6th to end his night. We saw 22 swings and misses out of Mets hitters. 22 swings and misses. That's the most Shohei has had on the mound in a Dodgers uniform. And it ended with an absolutely dominant night. Again, 10 strikeouts in 6 innings pitched and 1 run given up. It's time we have a bigger conversation. Shohei Ohtani is entering the conversation of the best pitcher in the game of baseball. Is Shohei Ohtani the best pitcher in the game of baseball? Tarek Skubal, Paul Skeens, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and Shohei Ohtani. Those are the best pitchers in the game of baseball. And I think when you look at a broader scale, people in the United States view Shohei Ohtani as a hitter first, pitcher second. Shohei Ohtani himself doesn't view himself as a hitter first. He views himself as a pitcher first. I'm interested to see what people in Japan think about him in that aspect. Please leave a comment if you're watching from Japan. Do you view him as a pitcher first or a hitter first? But I think he has said as much. He envisions himself as a pitcher first. And what we have seen from him as a pitcher is absolute dominance. And I don't say that lightly. I don't think people view him in the conversation of best pitcher in the game of baseball because he's so good offensively. And that's why I think people struggle with the conversation of, is he the greatest baseball player of all time? Because I think they see his offensive stats and think he's this like, oh, he also pitches. No, you see his offensive stat and he's also one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball. So we need to have the conversation. Is he the best pitcher in the game of baseball? So let's start with ERA leaders since the start of last season. Starting pitcher ERA leaders since the start of last season. On this list is Trevor Rogers, Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal, Shohei Ohtani is 4th, Nathan Eovaldi, and Hunter Brown. The 4th best starting pitcher ERA since the start of last season. Let's not forget, he didn't start pitching until middle of the year, got more dominant as he went on, and has continued that dominance. Let's take a step back. We're going to talk best pitcher in the game of baseball. Let's take a step back to a bit of a broader picture. Since 2021, the start of the 2021 season, Shohei Ohtani ranks 1st of every pitcher in baseball in earned run average at 2.75. He ranks 2nd in expected ERA, 5th in FIP, 2nd in strikeout percentage, 1st of every pitcher in baseball in opponent batting average, 2nd in opponent OPS, and 5th in whip percentage. This is over a 5-year span. 4+ year span for Shohei Ohtani on the mound. And he's top 5 in all of those major categories. I think he wants to win the Cy Young Award. There's never been a Japanese-born pitcher to win the Cy Young Award. And I think the Dodgers have 2 guys that could absolutely do it. I do think it happens this year. I originally said Paul Skeens is going to win the Cy Young Award. I do think either Yamamoto or Ohtani wins the Cy Young Award this year. I really do. They're unbelievable. And we know Paul Skeens is unbelievable in the National League as well. And I actually think the Pirates are a better baseball team this year. But to expect the continued dominance of him continually, we'll see. He absolutely could still win, but I think Yamamoto or Ohtani is going to win it this year. For the first time ever, a Japanese-born pitcher would win the Cy Young Award. Shohei Ohtani is showing that he is one of, if not the best pitchers in the game of baseball. And he is absolutely in that conversation with Paul Skeens and Tarek Skubal and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Shohei Ohtani is dominant since the start of 2021. He has the best ERA of every pitcher in the game of baseball.